The following video has been made available with closed captions for the hard of hearing and in described video for the visually impaired. Please visit the description below for more details. So I thought I would introduce a new type of video to this channel that I don't plan on making frequently, but I wanted to try it out, so let's get started. I recently worked on a logo for my friend, and their brand included a lot of watercolor. So I wanted to find a way to make a digital watercolor pattern without using any stock aspects and completely with the stuff I already had. I did some research and this is the example I made for this video. For this tutorial, you will need a decently sized brush, some watercolor paint. It doesn't need to be expensive, but ideally it should be black. A sheet of paper, ideally watercolor paper, but printer paper will do, as seen here. A place to hold your paint and a bit of water, and a place to do work. Not seen on screen, you will also need a scanner, but a phone camera may work as well. Of course, also a computer to do your editing on. Alright, let's do this. First, get a sheet of paper and your watercolor set. I have never actually learned how to paint with watercolor, but I think I still got a pretty decent result. I just got some black paint on a decently large brush and dipped it in a bit of water. There is no need to be too modest with the water because you will need the water to spread around the paint and make the stains. Next, put your soaking wet brush on the paper and dab it a bit. I prefer this gradual water stain looking pattern. If you want a stroke pattern, make a gentle stroke. You can also try to splatter it or drip it on the paper. I would recommend experimenting with different techniques. There really isn't a wrong answer. It depends on the look you're going for. I recommend trying to organize the splotches in a grid pattern as much as you can so it will be easier later to cut it out when it is on the computer. But you can see I didn't do that here. If you need, you can also use a paper towel to soak up the water on your brush, and then use the brush to soak up the water on the paper. Once you think you are done, wait for it to fully dry out. Then we will bring it to the scanner. On the scanner, just put it face down and set it to black and white. If you can, turn up the resolution so we get a higher resolution image. I prefer to have it on a USB after scanning, but you can email it to yourself if you want. These are the settings I ended up using. I had to scan it 5 different times so I could get all the splotches properly exposed. The reason why we use a scanner instead of the camera is because the background is easier to key out on a scanned image. You can try using a camera or an app. It's more or less the same process, but I have never tried it. Now, with our file scanned, we will have to load the file onto our computer. We will also need to download the image manipulation program we will be using for this tutorial. It is called Gimp, and the link is in the description below. As promised, it is completely free and really great for many uses, not just for this tutorial. It works with Windows, Mac, and Linux, and it doesn't require a powerful computer to run. To start off, once the program is installed and running, we will want to import the scans into the program. Just go to File and Open. Then select the files of your scans and open them. They will open along the top in tabs so you can easily switch between them. I like to try and organize things so it is less of a headache later, so I numbered them. Some of my scans came out rotated, so I quickly went to Image, Transform, and selected Rotate and the desired angle. Now that we have each scan on Gimp, we will key out the background by going to Color, then Color to Alpha. If this option isn't available, go to the background layer on the bottom right, right-click, select Add Alpha Channel, and try again. Depending on your image resolution and computer, this may take a minute. Now, for the next step, we will have to cut out each splotch on the program. It helps to have the original piece of paper nearby to see what each splotch is supposed to look like. To cut out items, I use the selection square in the top left corner and just dragged a box around it. Then, I cut it by going to Edit, then Cut, but you may use the Ctrl X shortcut if you would like. Then I went to make a new document by going to Page and New. In the pop-up, I set the resolution to the desired amount. I did one that matched the resolution of my screen. In a new document, Gimp automatically sets the background to the background color selected. But I wanted it to be white, so I just took the paint bucket and selected white, but you can choose whatever color you want. Then, paste the splotch you copied on the paper and right-click the pasted layer on the bottom right. Then, select to New Layer. With the splotch now, we want to make it white, so we will invert the color. Go under Color, then press Invert. If you are planning to use many splotches, you can do this to all the splotches at once, right before you select the first splotch. Just invert the color, then cut the individual splotches. I didn't do that here, but it may save you a bit of time. Now, we will be colorizing the splotch. Here I used a masking method. First, I pressed the little I button to hide my splotch for now. I wanted my splotch to be a gradient, so I selected the gradient tool. Then I set the gradient to be a radial shape, but you can choose whatever you would like. Then, I just dragged across the screen. I forgot to select my background layer, so make sure you select that before dragging or else nothing will happen. Now we will select the splotch again and cut it. Press the I to unhide the splotch. Don't forget to switch back to the Move tool before selecting. It is the one with the 4 arrows. Now, with the splotch cut out, right-click the background layer and add a layer mask. Select the option that fills it with black. Then, with the layer mask selected, paste the splotch. Now, your splotch takes the color of the background. If you're happy with how that looks, right-click the splotch and select Anchor Layer. Then, right-click again and select Apply Layer Mask. Now, let's fast forward. Just repeat this same process with the different splotches to get your desired look. I slowed down here to show a couple of features. If you need to rotate the splotch, there's a tool that will let you do that here. And to scale a splotch, there's a tool right beside it, right here. Right here, I had a bunch of splatters, but they were really far apart, so I just selected them and cut them. Then, pasted them so I could move them to arrange them in a more favorable shape. It feels like there's probably a better way to do this, but I don't know any right now. An essential characteristic of watercolor is that it is partly transparent, so you can change the opacity right above the layer menu. I changed the blend modes too to mix it up a bit. I just experimented with them. When it comes to text, I selected the text tool and clicked on the area I wanted the text. I just experimented with the font settings until I found something I liked. I downloaded a custom font because I couldn't find any I liked pre-installed. The font I used is called Magnolia Script, and there will be a link in the description. To export it, select File and Export As. Then give it a name and a file extension. If you want to retain its alpha channel, or transparency, PNG is a good option. Then click Export, and export again. There you have it, a watercolor style logo made entirely by you. Congratulations! Here at Mobile Museum, we don't usually make videos like this, but I will consider making more in the future if this is well received. Otherwise, take a look at my channel where we look at products and analyze their designs. Regardless, thanks for sticking around for so long. I hope to see you again soon.